Welcome back to mathematics class. Welcome to Math Magic Minds. And today we are going to start another beautiful chapter, which is trigonometry. Trigonometry is a very important chapter, especially in IIT Foundation. So coming to this chapter, trigonometry is the one of the important branch in mathematics. See, we have an idea about like algebra, coordinate geometry, calculus, etc., isn't it? So these are the some of the branches of mathematics. In that, one of the important branch is trigonometry. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about how to measure angles and how to measure sides of a triangle. And especially the concepts of trigonometry are very much helpful in astronomy, physical sciences, even in engineering. I mean, suppose if you want to measure the distance between two objects which are so far away. For example, if you want to know about the distance between Earth and Moon, just imagine nobody can measure by the help of a scale or tape or any other instruments, etc., isn't it? But whereas with the help of trigonometry concepts, it is very easy to find the distance between two objects which are so far away. Even you might have heard about height of the Mount Everest. Do you know how it is possible to measure such a height? This is also including trigonometric concepts. So let us begin the part 1 of trigonometry. So let us see, first of all, what is the meaning of trigonometry. So especially the word trigonometry is derived from three Latin words. One is tri, and second one is gonia, and third one is metron. Okay, so the trigonometry word is taken from these three words. One is tri, second one is gonia, and third one is metron. You know, tri means, I hope you all know, 3, and meaning of gonia is nothing but angles, and metron means measurement. Now can you say the meaning of the word trigonometry? Measurement of 3 angles of a triangle. Measurement of 3 angles of a triangle is known as trigonometry. Okay, and trigonometry is based on certain ratios. Which are called trigonometric ratios. Okay, so this is the first chapter in the trigonometry, that is chapter number 1, which is trigonometric ratios. The ratios which are helpful in trigonometry. But before going to learn about trigonometric ratios, we need to concentrate on 2 more words. That is, what is the definition of a ray and what is the definition of an angle. So let us concentrate on, first of all, the definition of ray and then definition of angle. So look at the definition of a ray. Very simple. A ray is nothing but a half line, half of the line. So look at the statement here. A half line is called a ray. A half line is called a ray. For example, see, this is A dash, A, B, any line. Okay, line furtherly extended in both the directions. Let O be any point. O be any point. Now, if A dash A is a line and O is a point in the line, then OA dash, see this one, OA dash is a ray and OA is the another ray. OA is the one ray and OA dash is nothing but another ray. Means finally the entire line is divided into two parts. That is why half of the part of the line is known as a ray. That is, the definition is nothing but a half line is called a ray. So look at me here. A and A dash be a line and O is any point on the line. Now O divides the entire line into two parts. Need not be equal parts, just two parts. Then each part, that is OA and OA dash, is called a ray. And the point O is called end point of the ray OA. Okay, end point of the ray OA. Fine. Next, what is the definition of angle? Say, an angle is the union of two rays. An angle is nothing but union of two rays. Look at me here. OX is one of the ray and OP is one more ray, isn't it? Therefore, the union of two rays, but not every two rays. The condition is this is with common end point. See, in this ray OX, O is the end point. In this ray OP, O is the end point. As we discussed, O is the end point of the ray OA. Okay. Similarly, here O is the end point of the two rays. One is OX and one is OP. And you know, my dear, here for these two rays, the end point is common, isn't it? So that is the concept here. An angle is the union of two rays with common end point O together with the rotation in a plane, isn't it? See, for example, this is the one of the ray and this is one more ray. Now, the area between these, is it considered as an angle? No. Why? Because, of course, it has its own end point. Even the second ray also has its own end point, but both are not having the common end points. Okay, so that is why this concept, this point is very, very important and you need to remember. An angle is nothing but union of two rays. Union of two rays with the common end point O together with the rotation in a plane. That means an angle is generated by, how it is generated by revolving a ray from the initial position. See, this is the ray initial position. It's revolving to a co-terminal side OP. So OX, I want to rotate in this direction. In this direction, that is what? Anti-clockwise direction. And so OX, the amount of rotation of the ray OX is revolving into positive direction, you can say, or anti-clockwise direction with coincide with the terminal side OP. Then the amount of rotation is considered as angle. For example, here the amount of OX should be coincide with OP. Then the region, the common region, this is what union of the two rays, that part whatever the initial ray is revolving here, it is considered as the union of two rays. And you know, the amount of rotation usually we denote with theta. I mean, theta is the angle of rotation here. Do you understand here? So how an angle is generated? An angle is generated by revolving a ray from initial position, this is the initial position, to a terminal side. This is the terminal side. Here OX is called, OX is called initial ray. Initial ray. Whereas OP is called as terminal side, or you can also consider as terminal ray. Okay. So when initial ray is coincide with terminal A, then the amount of rotation of this revolving is known as angle, and usually angle is denoted by theta, which is a Greek letter. So next is about standard position of an angle. So when can we say that an angle is in standard position? This is very, very important. So see here, in a rectangular Cartesian, nothing but coordinate system, in a rectangular Cartesian coordinate system, the angle theta is said to be in the standard position when if the vertex of an angle theta is at the origin, and if the initial side of the angle should be coincide with the positive x-axis, that is OX ray. So see here, generally this is the coordinate system followed by x-axis, y-axis, and O is the origin, right? Now say this is the one more ray, which is P, and this angle is nothing but theta. The rotation is in this direction, isn't it? The rotation of angle is in this direction, which is anti-clockwise, which is also known as positive direction, right? Now look at me here. When can we say that theta, the angle, is in the standard position? So observe these 2 points. Point number 1, that is vertex of an angle theta is at the origin. Here this is considered as the common endpoint is there, no? The common endpoint of two rays is known as vertex. I mean here OX, OP are the two rays. Their common point is O, and O is said to be vertex here. So that is what I am telling you, that vertex must be the origin. This is the point number 1. And next one is initial side of the angle must coincide with the positive x-axis. So generally in this OX and OP, just now we discussed, this is nothing but initial ray. This is initial ray, whereas this is coterminal ray. Okay. So what is the point number 2 I am talking here? So initial side of the angle. This is the initial side. Of course, when we are talking about angle, let it be initial side and let it be coterminal side. Now, initial side of an angle should be coincide with the positive direction of the x-axis, isn't it? So when you are talking about a coordinate system, OX and OY are nothing but coordinate axis. But when you are talking about angle concept here, so when theta is in standard position, that means the initial ray itself OX, I mean positive direction, isn't it? And the vertex itself origin. If these two are matching, hence the angle, whatever it may be, the angle is said to be standard position of an angle. So my dear students, let me want to repeat once again. Just look at here. That is, when can we say that angle is in standard position? So this concept is depending on only 2 points. Point number 1, vertex must be origin. So vertex is nothing but the common point, the common end point of the two rays. See, yes, clearly O is the actually common end point, of course, which is known as vertex and which is nothing but origin. Yeah, this is the point number 1. And point number 2 is initial side. What is the initial side here? OX. That must be coincide with the positive x-axis, that is OX. Of course, here OX itself initial side, isn't it? Then theta is said to be in the standard position of an angle. So look at this situation now. Suppose this is O and this is OX ray, and this can be the one more one, that is OP ray. isn't it? Now even though this angle, this is the amount of rotation of angle, let it be theta, isn't it? Now even though in this situation also we can say that theta is in standard position. Why? Because vertex is the origin and initial side is nothing but positive x-axis. Okay. Now look at this situation number 3. So this is x and this is O, and let it be the ray P. Now the direction of the rotation, you see, the direction of the rotation, OX is rotating in this direction, isn't it? In this direction, you know, this direction is known as clockwise direction, whereas this and this known as anti-clockwise direction. This is the direction what you are rotated here. This is the direction what we are rotated here. So this rotation is known as anti-clockwise direction, if not positive direction of the x-axis. In these two situations, theta is always positive, my dear. But this situation, you know, here OX is rotated in this downward direction, isn't it? Because it should be coincide with the coterminous edge, coterminous side. Hence, this is the amount of angle theta. Of course, once again we say that theta is in the standard position. Why? Because once again the vertex is origin, and once again the initial ray is nothing but positive x-axis. So no doubt that situation number 1, situation number 2 and situation number 3, in all these 3 situations, simply we can say that angle theta is in the standard position. But you know, my dear, here the angle of rotation in situation 1 and 2 is anti-clockwise. Hence here theta is positive. Here theta is positive. Here also theta is positive. Okay, ma. But coming to the situation number 3, here the angle of rotation is clockwise direction, is it? No. Hence here, you know, theta is negative. Theta is negative. An angle is measured in terms of negative. Okay. So how can we measure angles? So there are 3 types of measures to measure an angle. There are 3 types of measurements to measure an angle. What are they? First one is sexagesimal system. Second one is centesimal system. And third one, radian measure. Radian measure. Actually, sexagesimal system, which is also known as British system, which is known as British system, and centesimal system is also known as French system. Okay, ma. And you know, radian measure, which is also considered as circular measure or measurement. Circular measurement. So these are the 3 types. In this, the last one, which is very, very important to us. So now I am going to explain you about how can we measure an angle in terms of radian. In terms of a radian. So let us see the definition of radian. So what is the radian measurement? The angle subtended by an arc of a circle whose length is equal to the radius of the circle at the center of the circle. Do you understand? Once again, the angle subtended by an arc. For example, see here, AB is an arc. So AB is an arc which is subtending some angle at the center of the circle O. O is the center of the circle, isn't it? And you know, the condition is length of the arc whose length should be equals to the radius of the circle. Here clearly OB is the radius. OB is the radius. Then the chord length AB also should be equals to the same radius R, isn't it? So the angle subtended by an arc. An angle subtended by an arc. This is the some angle, whatever it may be. Okay, by an arc AB. But conditions apply here. You know what is the condition? That is, whose length should be equals to the radius of the circle. So length of chord AB should be equals to the radius of the circle. So O is the center, B is any point on the circle, hence the distance between center to any point on the circle is nothing but radius. If suppose OB is radius denoted by small r, then length of the arc is also equals to the radius of the circle, hence AB length also must be equals to r. Therefore, then the angle subtended by this arc AB is called a radian. And in this system, the unit of measurement is radian, isn't it? The radian is denoted by like this, small c in power. You know, if it is 1 radian, we write 1 power c. If it is 2 radians, then we'll write 2 power c. So radians are denoted by small c, which is in the power. Please read it as 1 radian, and this is read it as 2 radians. Do you understand, ma? So angle subtended by an arc at the center of a circle, which is known as a radian. But here there is a condition. What is that? Every chord which subtends an angle at the center is not considered as a radian. The chord of the arc length should be equals to the radius of the circle. Then such arc, whatever it may be, the angle made at the center of the circle is known as radian, and radian is measured in this manner. Okay. Now let us see here angle. Let us see the ratio between angle AOB by angle AOC, which is equals to AOB, length of the arc, which is nothing but AB, and this is AOC, length of the arc is nothing but AC. Okay, ma'am. So AB length, just now we considered as small r, by AC length, AC, this arc is nothing but 1/4 of the entire circumference of the circle. Hence this is, I can write 1/4 into entire circumference of a circle is nothing but 2 pi r. So this 2 here 2 times, isn't it? And one of the r also gets cancelled. 1 by pi by 2, which is nothing but 2 by pi. 2 by pi. Therefore, this ratio is known as a radian, isn't it? Hence I can say that 1 radian is equals to 2 by pi right angle. 1 radian is equals to 2 by pi right angle. If not, from this, 1 right angle is equals to what we can write? 1 right angle is equals to, from this I can also say that 1 right angle is equals to, if 2 by pi, if you send this side, pi by 2 radians. Pi by 2 radians. This is the relationship between right angle and radian. Please remember that 1 radian is equals to 2 by pi right angles, and 1 right angle is equals to 1 right angle is equals to pi by 2 radians, denoted by small c in the power. So therefore I can write that 1 right angle, isn't it? 1 right angle is nothing but 90 degrees, which is equals to pi by 2 radians. The relationship between radians and degrees. Now look at one question here. For example, express 150 degrees in circular measurement. Circular measurement means in terms of radians. So just now we know that since, what is that since? Every right angle is equals to pi by 2 radians. Isn't it, ma? Pi by 2 radians. Now we want to convert 150 degrees is equals to how many radius? So radians. In terms of radians, if you want to convert, just you need to do that pi by 180 into whatever is given to you. Pi by 180, isn't it? Cross multiplication, pi is nothing but 2 into 90, 180 degrees. Hence, if you want to mention this is in terms of radius, you are going to get is So let us see 0, 0 gets cancelled. Now 3 here, 5 threes and 6 threes. Hence 150 degrees, which is nothing but 5 pi by 6 radians. 5 pi by 6 radians. Do you understand? Just any angle which is in degrees, if you want to convert into radians, just you need to multiply with pi by 180. Pi by 180. Now, for example, express, for example, 30 degrees in circular measurement. Then what to do? 30 degrees is equals to, just you need to multiply with pi by 180 to convert into radians. So pi by 180 into 30 degrees. Pi by 180 into 30 degrees. Hence, this 30 in this 6 times. Hence 30 degrees, which is nothing but pi by 6 radians. Pi by 6 radians. Okay. Hope you all understood about circular measurement. Okay. So do one thing, that is just pi by 180 into whatever it may be the angle in terms of degree. That if you simplify, you are going to get in terms of radians. So now let us discuss about what are the trigonometric ratios. There are 6 ratios, my dear. So to explain this concept, let us consider a right angle triangle. Suppose A, B, C is a right angle triangle and right angle at B. Okay, ma? Let it be, this is an angle theta. Now, for example, say AB is equal to some x and BC is equals to some y, and whereas then AC is equal to, according to Pythagoras theorem, which is nothing but root of x square plus y square, and simply just take it as some r. Okay, let AB is equal to x, BC is equals to y, and AC is equals to small r, where r is equals to root of x square plus y square. Now theta is angle CAB is equals to theta. Okay, ma? Now the ratio between, since theta is here, no, hence this is considered as a opposite side to angle theta. Okay, and this side AB is considered as a adjacent side to angle theta. And as usual, since it is a right angle triangle, then the side which is opposite to right angle is always known as hypotenuse. Right, my dear? So therefore, the ratio between, here there are 3 sides are there finally. Opposite side, adjacent side and hypotenuse to theta. So ratio between any 2 sides is known as some name, some ratio, some trigonometric ratio. Now let me want to discuss about, first of all, the ratio between opposite side to angle theta, by hypotenuse. This ratio is named as sine theta. Okay, this ratio, the ratio between opposite side to an angle and hypotenuse, is known as some name. Just we arranged a name, that is known as sine. The ratio is known as sine ratio. Because of angle is theta, then it is considered as sine theta. Hence sine theta is equals to, now see, can you tell me what is the opposite side to angle theta? Opposite side to angle theta is nothing but BC, and by hypotenuse is nothing but AC. And BC is nothing but shortly can take it as y, and finally hypotenuse is small r. Therefore sine theta is equals to y by r. But before that, better to know, this is the ratio between, sine theta is defined as ratio between opposite side to angle theta by hypotenuse. Okay ma. Next opposite by hypotenuse. Now adjacent side to angle theta by hypotenuse. This ratio is named as cos theta. So what is the adjacent side here? Adjacent side is nothing but AB, and this is as usual AC, hence which is x by r. And next one, ratio between opposite side to angle theta by adjacent side to angle theta. This ratio is known as tan theta. The ratio between opposite side and adjacent side to angle theta is known as tan theta. Hence, what is opposite is nothing but BC and adjacent side is AB. Finally, this is y by x. Okay, ma. So basically, these are the three standard trigonometric ratios. Opposite side by hypotenuse, this ratio is known as sin theta. Adjacent side by hypotenuse, which is known as cos theta. And the ratio between opposite side and adjacent side we defined as tan theta. And these reciprocals, the reciprocal of this ratio, which is hypotenuse by opposite side. Let me want to write simply in a short manner. Hypotenuse by opposite side. This ratio is known as cosecant theta. How to read this is cosecant theta. What is finally hypotenuse is nothing but AC and opposite is nothing but BC, which is R by Y. Y by R reciprocal. 1 by Y by R, which is nothing but R by Y. And finally, the reciprocal of the second one, that is hypotenuse by adjacent side. This ratio is known as secant theta. Okay. So, which is AC by AB, which is R by X. And finally, the ratio between adjacent side by opposite side, which is known as cot theta. So, which is adjacent is nothing but AB by BC, which is X by Y. Okay. So, please see this. How to read this? Sin theta, cos theta, tan theta as usual. But coming to this, cosecant theta, secant theta, but shortly we write like this, cosec theta and sec theta. But read it as cosecant, secant, and this is cotangent actually. Shortly we read as cot theta. So hope you all understand about these concepts, ma. So please remember these ratios so that in the next class we can discuss few more concepts. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.